This is the Poddy with Serene
and Pearl.
Get it right, Poddy.
Do I have anything in my nose?
No.
Yes.
You're like, yes, a lot. Start the show. I feel like, you ever trim your nose hair? Do girls trim nose hair?
Can you start it, JD?
Kim.
This guy's going to go
I've
on.
been recording for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Have you really? Do you trim your nose hairs?
No, women
but-
don't have nose hairs.
You don't grow nose hair.
I mean, we do. Women have some, but not like men.
You're not
I
meant
think
to.
it's very light filia.
Yeah.
You're not
It's
meant
very
to
feminine. If
filter
it is there.
pollen out in battle. I feel like men are built for battle. Like we have more muscle.
Yeah.
We have more nose hair.
Yeah.
Triple the nose hair of the average dude.
Nate, you're not on the show.
Wait, did we start?
Yeah, he got it. He got it in.
Man.
Whoa.
Hey, it's time for the banter. The part you hate, but we love.
Hey, I've got meat to bring. Can we move this banter on?
You don't
is
have a
frozen-
microphone.
This is a frozen facial expression. He's giving Nate a hard time because we give you a hard time, right? We give Danny a hard time, and he wants to
He wants to have a whipping boy because he's been the whipping boy.
Nate told me early, he's like, I'm more of an intellectual. I was like, oh, do we fancy ourselves intellectual?
Have we started, by the way?
It's the Trim Healthy Podcast with Serene, Pearl, and I'm Danny Valdez. And we're glad you tuned in. Hey, I wanted to ask you about hyaluronic acid.
Yes, let's go. I like this subject.
Anytime I go to the mall, I hit Sephora with a vengeance. Okay.
Are you a girl?
Well, my girls are with me.
Okay, okay, that makes sense.
But when I walk in Sephora,
Young teenage girls like Sephora, yeah.
I walk in Sephora and it's like I forgot my dog because there's food or something. Like I just walk away from my kids.
You love it.
Oh yeah, man! You can get in there and improve thyself.
Yeah.
So I head to the
Hollywood
back.
Den.
I head to the back, and we've got Drunk Elephant. We've got Ordinary. You can get a vial of hyaluronic acid from the brand Ordinary for $10.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you. So I bought it, and I bought it because I felt like after 6 years of free skincare at Sephora. I mean, I'll do my hair.
What do you mean free?
They have free samples.
Oh, so you use the samples.
I go through
the
aisle by
woman
aisle.
sample. You don't care. They don't have to be geared toward men. No.
Oh no. So I start.
You got something in your hair. It looks particularly set. Those curls look set.
Well,
I like it, by the way.
What we're featuring today is it's called Jelly Soft Curls.
Yeah,
you heard
they
of
look
it?
like jelly soft curls,
I
don't
like
they?
it.
Look at
Jelly
that.
Soft Curls. Thank you.
They could almost be a wig. You could pull it off, put it on.
It doesn't move.
Yes.
It's very frozen. Now, we start at Sephora with a base coat, if you will, of Ordinary hyaluronic acid. We hit the forehead. We come down the line. We wipe under the eyes, and then we bring down. Okay. After that, we get a lovely.
You're doing this in Sephora.
In
That's
Sephora.
when you do your skincare.
Yep. An aisle over, we get to the lovely snail cream.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Have you had snail cream?
Yeah, I've tried some.
It's literally the excrement of a snail.
Yep.
You squirt the snail cream in. We top coat. We top coat with snail cream. Now we
With
have
just a circular motion. We don't do the bring down. We don't do the
no.
T.
And we want to use our ring fingers because they're not very strong, and we don't risk any damage
Look
to
at
the
JD's
pores.
learning. JD, the fireman's learning. No, he's not.
Now, that gives a nice glow, a dewy glow.
And you personally like dewy on yourself.
Yeah, I wanna look magic.
Okay.
Like a magic
And
man.
does Mrs. V like the look of you when you come home?
She doesn't know about this.
Oh, okay.
And our spouses, just so everyone knows, do not listen to the podcast.
Yeah, none of our spouses listen.
No, none.
It's
three.
really good.
Yeah, it's best.
My husband's the hater of the podcast.
He hates it. Yeah.
It's
Does it?
because he's the subject of a lot of the podcast.
He hates the podcast.
I'm telling everybody
It's not
how
because
the
he's the subject.
how the
He
Charlie Straight
hates the
Pants
podcast.
thighs look.
Yeah, I mean, he
last
doesn't care
podcast.
because he doesn't listen.
He just thinks podcasts are dumb in general. Like, what are
He
you
doesn't
doing
listen
with
to
your
any
life?
podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you've got
If
this
you did, it
dewy
wouldn't be
face.
ours.
And what is the point?
Yeah,
No,
because
just
we've got meat
listen,
coming. What
'cause I
about
have
new
a
people in the
question.
room? Oh, hyaluronic acid.
Yeah. So once we get through the dewy phase, we go over to the hair oil, and I'll just take a modest amount in the fingertips, and you just kind of oil the hair. And then we head to the front right side of the store, and they have a face mist
Yeah.
that you just mist down.
Oh, so you have a full-on protocol. Every time you go to Sephora, it's Danny face
Do you
care,
know what
hair
my
care.
protocol is there? Because I don't like the skincare in there.
Yeah.
I just will go for colors of makeup. So I will have from wrist to elbow on each side,
Yeah.
lipstick and eyeliners
Yeah.
and lip liners. I will be like multicolored rainbows.
Yeah.
From
Well, for 6 years, I've been getting free face skincare. So I thought I would buy for the first time a $10 bottle of hyaluronic acid. And I'm
Now-
wondering if it's healthy.
No,
would you want to be prepared to lose $10 and leave it in your cupboard?
I'll chuck it if it's not good for me.
Okay.
If you would read our Trim Healthy Wisdom book, we discuss that in much depth. But I'm going to let Serene do it in 1 minute.
No, you can begin it and I'll crisp it. I like to crisp it.
Hyaluronic acid is something your body makes. It's wonderful. We lose it as we age, so we lose elasticity and all that. Now, the stuff you buy at the store, at Sephora, in any skin cream is
Unless it specifies.
high weight.
Yes.
It is low weight, and that is fractured hyaluronic
Hyaluronic
acid. And it is actually harmful to the skin.
It's very inflammatory.
It can make you plump at first, and that plump it's pulling water from the room.
And that plump is making everyone think hyaluronic acid is the latest and the greatest and the best. And look how my skin feels. My skin responds. But this is the now. What we care about is what the skin's going to look like a decade later.
The rebound.
There is an incredible inflammatory response to fractured hyaluronic acid. And it's actually dehydrating the body because it's pulling from moisture in the deeper layers, especially if you're in environments where
that's
there's
right.
not a lot of moisture in the air, wintertime, constant air
Which is when people do it.
So all that to say,
So we want high weight.
weight. It's very rare. We have some in our collagen cream because
A
we
collagen
sourced
assist
it.
cream is high weight hyaluronic acid.
But most products do not have it in. There are some, if you go looking high weight, you will find if you seek and seek and seek. But
and that's brilliant.
yeah, it's brilliant.
So your collagen assist cream, of course, fully healthy,
Not
nice
nary a
things,
toxin, not a
Yeah.
toxin.
not a toxin, not long term.
No.
No.
It's worse for you.
No,
This is short term
long term
gain,
it builds
long term
back your
gain.
collagen. Yeah,
But your $10 thing is going to make you look better in that day.
That day.
Yes.
But eventually, frog face.
Yeah. And eventually, and you won't know if it was your smoking you do on the side, all
Yeah.
that, you know?
A pack a day never hurt grandpa.
all right. Meat, Serene.
Meat. I've got a little meat. I said in the last podcast that I was going to bring rare steak because I'm not prepared. But it's not even, I can't even call it
And it's
steak.
the same day as the
I'd
last
call it
podcast.
a not very well nitrated piece of deli meat. You know what I mean? It's not really properly, it doesn't have enough preparation even in this slice of deli meat.
You know what? You're just telling people to leave and stop listening.
No, I think this is a very, very beneficial conversation that we're all going to have today. I think it's going to change people's lives. It changed my life. It was very impactful to me, but it's quick.
Right,
A
well,
steak takes a long time to eat.
I like quick. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
The meat! When we really get down to business. But don't hate us for the rabbit trails.
So, I'm just going to be a little open today. I was struggling emotionally with some thoughts of betrayal. And I felt betrayed by a certain somebody. Don't worry, it's not my husband. Don't pray for our marriage.
I'm
We're all doing
texting
great.
Sam right now.
No, we're great. But it was to the level of pain that I never really felt before in my life, like deep pain. And normally I can be like, oh, that hurt. I feel offended. Oh, Serene, stop being offended. Just you can self-talk yourself out of it. But this was a pain that went so deep. I did not know how to process it properly. And it was my husband was involved. It wasn't between us two, but he had this betrayal too. So when you're both in pain, it's harder to process each other out, right? You kind of process each other back in.
You can't help each other, and you tend to maybe fuss a little too, huh?
Well, no, to us, it was just like the more we talked, the more wounded we felt because we were both had this wound, right? So I was wrestling in the night. It's probably the most painful, emotional night of my life. And I was like, God, I need you to take these emotions from me. Like, I know they're not healthy. I know they are killing me inside.
Did you feel like, killing your spirit, but did you also feel physically like
no,
they were
killing my
harming?
body. Like,
that
I
was
knew
that
I was going to get a flu because
Yeah.
of this. Or I was going to, like, literally, like, my immune system was probably going to be tanked by morning. I was wrestling with darkness, deep, deep pain. And I was like, take this, Lord, take this hurt. It was a hurt. Like, take this hurt from me. And I for hours, I was pleading with him, like, take this hurt, take this hurt. And I wasn't really getting anywhere except for just constantly wrestling until I didn't hear an audible voice, but I just had this knowing in my spirit that I was going the wrong direction, that this pleading for him to act on behalf of this hurt, like, was not the direction that God wanted me to take. And I felt this knowing, you have to give it to me. And then I can do something about it. Then I can work with that. But you cannot be holding it to your bosom, because if I take it tonight so that you can sleep for a couple of hours, you're going to pet it tomorrow morning. You're going to be musing and marinating in this. I want you to give it to me, Serene. And it was a massive realization. It's been so actually freeing for me in every other area that I am actually free to give hurt away to my Creator, to my Father, who knows everything and knows how deep these wounds go. And so instead of pleading for him to take it, I took action. And it took a while because, these were some deep emotions. And I got to the point by morning, I give it. I give it to you. And like the wound, like immediately, like the feverishness to the emotional wound, like the like where I felt like I was getting more and more infected, there was immediate healing response. To the point where that very next day, I could function happily with my children. I could be around people and ask them about their life. I was removed out of this internal, what I would say, when you're stuck in this vortex, this internal vortex of emotion, I was free because I had given it, and it reminded me of that scripture, cast all your cares upon him, because he cares for you. And then there's other scriptures that have that, casting all your anxieties. And one of the words there in the original cast means to almost violently hurl off of you, and so it was something that night I really had to do. It was like this gathering it up and literally heaving it off with every single bit of strength that I could have. The strength that I put in the gym is like everything that I've got, right?
Were you kind of having to visually picture
Yes,
it?
I had to
Unclasp
visually
from your
picture,
heart?
unclasped from my bosom, this thing I was clutching because the wound, I was actually hugging it to my breasts, hugging it to me and thinking, this is wounding me. This is infecting me. God, take it. But I was clinging to it at the same time. So this visual, like hurling it with all this vehemence off of me. And so it made me start to think about other areas of my life. And it made me start to think that's something I could bring to the podcast, other areas of your life, you listeners out there. And maybe it's not emotional. Maybe it's like a physical thing. Maybe you're being pleading with God in desperate situations in your life. And we've had, this transformational podcast where we've had people with their testimonies of metamorphosis on Trim Healthy, like change. And it's not necessarily always weight. It's for many different things in their life. And they always have a pivotal moment where they get to whether it was like crying in the bathroom corner or in bed at night, like screaming under the sheets, or maybe it's an internal pleading. God, something has to change. I need you to take this from me, you know? And it just made me start to think, maybe I could encourage and use my story to say, are you able, are you willing to make the move and to let go of it?
It's interesting that you say that, Serene, because in each, we have started this podcast series where women come on and they tell their story. And you said we always find out that moment where they were desperate and they were done and they were like, God, just give me the answer. And always there is an answer, but it's an action step that they take. They take that action step. But Serene, that you heaving that off wasn't God coming down and removing it.
No.
It was a miracle, but you took the action
But he's
step.
given me the grace ever since to not pick it back up. And it is a grace from him. Like, there is a struggle sometimes to pick up that hurt. But, you know, he walks me as a shepherd through that. And I can tell him counseling me and guiding me, you know, but I had to make that first move. How can he heal me when I'm clinging to the virus?
Yeah.
You know? So, and maybe let's just like bring it right down to the very practical, the very nitty gritty core of Trim Healthy, stabilizing the blood sugar. What if, you know, a lot of your issues right now are because you have an addiction. You are chained to sugar and it is destroying you. It is destroying everything around you because your health is failing in a drastic way, emotionally, physically, even spiritually, maybe. Sometimes hurling off has got to look like something physical. Maybe it's like you cannot cling to it physically anymore. So maybe it is a purging of the closets, the cupboards. You know, maybe you can't do that because maybe your husband wants to have sugar and still, but maybe it is where there is boundaries that you have to put between you and sugar, where you have to take it out from your clutches and put it removed from you.
Or a mindset thing where, hey, I am addicted to sugar. God, I'm addicted to sugar. You know, I eat my feelings. Why do I eat my feelings? God, take this away from me. And sometimes, Serene, you took on a new identity. I think your identity was, I'm wounded, I'm hurt. God, it hurts. God, it hurts.
Yeah.
It's so painful. Take the pain.
Yeah.
Until you said, it's not even mine. I give it. Yeah. I'm hurling it. So in a way, what was your new identity? Were you healed and whole, or what?
Yes, I was
was
healed and whole. Isn't that weird? It is so weird to say, like, oh, she's just talking fairy tales. No, Pearl, and I had an incredible day that next day, and I've never fallen into that deep, dark pit since. Now, I've struggled with this. Like, I've been tempted to pick this wound up. But there was incredible healing because you're right, Pearl. It was an identity change. I saw it as not my burden anymore. I have put it in this closet, not in this like new age closet, like, oh, I'm just burying and boxing up my pain and here it is all boxed up and I'm not going to open it. No, I'm like, I've given it to you, God. So it is in this closet where I can go in and pray about it with you, Lord. I can go and, you know, work on it. If there's something practical you need me to do about this, I'm all in. I want to do everything I need to do to help solve this problem. But I am not clinging it to my breast. I am not like bosom hugging this thing anymore. It's not mine because I've given it away. So I'll go where, you know, God is dealing with it and I will go there with him. But I'm not bringing it back. And that identity now is I walk around whole from this because I'm not carrying it anymore. I don't walk around carrying it. And that identity has made me feel light.
It's visual though, right?
It's visual.
Your brain decided to look at it differently. Once you did release the pain and say, not even mine, I'm hurling it. I'm actually throwing this to you, God. Something I believe happened in your body because I know what you're talking about. I'm not going to share it here. It was a deep, dark wound and I saw you struggle, Serena. I remember your voice on the phone was flat and hurt and deep and you could barely talk.
Breathe. Yeah.
Barely.
Yes.
And then that next day you were like, it was light. It was life.
Yeah.
And I said, what the heck happened?
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you sad? What?
Yes.
And it was this.
And I can still get tender about it. And I can still be like, go into that special closet where I know God is working on this issue. Because it's not all boxed up and like buried. No, I've given it to God, so I know that He's going to
Yeah.
work all things for
Yeah.
for my good and for this person's good, and I feel like He's in control, and then I'm giving Him room to work on it because I'm not
Yeah.
getting all up in it, you know. So it's just so interesting because I just have this sense that I can do this again in other areas of my life. It's just such a powerful thing. And that's why I wanted to bring it, encourage it and say, you know, maybe you're still struggling with something and you're pleading like I've pled, but it's God wants to help and He's going to give you that grace. And everything we do, and everything that's life to us is all from the Father, right? So we're it's not saying that He can't come and deliver. He will be the deliverer in it. But we have a faith action, an identity action, I think, that initiates things.
Yes.
I love that you talk about it like it was all a choice.
It was.
Yeah. Like you were making decisions as to be depressed or not be depressed.
Right. Yeah.
I'm reading a book right now called The Myth of Mental Illness.
Oh, wow.
And it's from a very reputable,
Yeah.
I think it's a psychologist or some doctor in the mental
Yeah.
health space. And he talks about how like at some point, even our, like at a national level, it became law to call the way people were behaving diseases.
Yeah.
And so the government started categorizing them as diseases. Now there could be funding for medicine to sell to treat those diseases. And he's not trying to be conspiracy about it, but he's trying to challenge people and help people actually get better.
Yeah.
And he's pushing, as you get through the chapters, pushing you towards personal ownership and accountability
Right.
for like your state of being, rather than you're afflicted. Like we can't measure your depression. You know, there was a lot of in our country for a while we would say someone is low, they're low serotonin, so we need to give them medicine that increases their serotonin. Well, that's not measurable. Studies have found that no one in any sort of test had a decreased chemical in their brain. So I'm saying all that to say, like, so much of truth seems to point towards personal control in the state you choose to be in your life. I mean, sometimes I think some people have to have a special condition to be relevant to their family.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying, Danny, and I see so much truth in that, and I would love to read this book.
Yeah, I want to
I
read
mean,
it.
there's always low things. I mean, you think of that movie, A Beautiful Mind, right? You know, there's people that literally hear voices, and there are diseases of the brain as well as there are
I
of
think
the body.
Danny's talking about
I
the
think so.
mass label
Yeah.
that's put on.
Yeah.
The
you know,
ones that you've had to wear and been diagnosed
Yeah.
with, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the extreme corners of mental problems.
Yeah.
Right.
Where people absolutely will have friends visit them in the night,
Yeah.
and it's terrifying. I
Yeah.
mean, there's
Yeah.
those things.
You're talking about the
99%.
regular depression,
Yep,
not
the
not
99%
clinic. Yeah.
of the thing that there was this book, I forget, but C.S. Lewis, he takes a bus to hell, and there's people in hell. This one person had a little imp that lived on his shoulder and would always whisper little lies into his ear, and he would want to be free, but then he would the little imp would be like, no, you need me, and we need each other, and we've always been there for each other, and
Yeah.
after all, don't I protect you?
Yeah.
How many times have I saved you? And he goes back and he stays like
Yeah.
in bondage to
Yeah.
this creature.
Yeah.
And then in the end, he has to like kill this creature to be free
All
from
right.
it.
Yeah, I believe.
But
I've heard this.
I love that for 99% of us, we actually can take ownership over our state of being, and that's not always easy. Like,
It's not easy.
not at all. I mean, I've sat under the weight of anxiety, depression myself. I've had doctors tell me that I have an anxiety disorder. I've been prescribed antidepressants. I mean, I've sat for years, and in those years, it sure didn't feel like I had any control over those things. But looking back, I was believing a lot of lies. There were things I needed good people to tell me good things
No,
some
we
of which
do.
was you two.
We need this coaching, Serena. I think of my own situation. Like you said, I'm still on a journey. I'm tempted, but with good coaching, and some of mine have been you speaking to my life. Some other coaches in my life have been like Laura Doyle. I think she brings great stuff for marriages. But I've dealt with not pain to that extent, but just in marriage, right? I will get hurt feelings, and I'll remember all the things my husband has done when I get hurt feelings. They'll all come back, 1,000 memories of everything he's done to hurt me. My brain is so good at it. It was so good at it. And I'll feel this ping. It's in my gut.
Yeah.
Like it's a ping. It's a familiar hurt.
You feel it physically.
Physical hurt.
I feel a
it.
sphere in my gut.
Yeah,
That's what I've always said.
I don't know what it is. I feel it right here. It's a physical sensation, and I know it's that hurt again.
It's horrid.
Yeah.
And I've spent the last maybe 3 years with a different perspective of everything, what you focus on increases. It's true, it's scientific, it's biblical, and it works. What you focus on increases. And when I focus on those hurts, they increase, the pain gets stronger, I can't sleep, all the stress things. But boy, Serene, when I started to let go of this, it's such a wrestling match.
Yeah.
It's almost the precious. Like, you don't want it. Like, you feel so, I'm afflicted. I have pain. This is so brutal. I have pain. But to let go of it is something you don't want to do.
One day before a podcast, I'll never forget, Pearl Barrett goes, "Hey, mate, I just want to give you permission to not die.
All right.
You're gonna that you can live and be free from this fear. You're not dying, man." And I was just like, "Okay."
that was in your robe days,
Fine.
when you were very depressed.
Yeah, very depressed. I mean, I was publicly depressed. It was not like a private thing I did in the corner. Like, I came on a show with a physical cloak of depression. And those words mattered. Serene shared stuff too. It'd be like, "What are you going on about?" Just like, prove it, like, prove it. Like, so far it's been all this time of you in fear and
no,
nothing.
and we need people speaking into our lives of the truth, not just to say, "Oh yeah, that must feel terrible. I can't believe that happened to you."
Yeah,
No,
maybe for a couple seconds.
Yeah, I did say some of that to you, Serene.
Yeah.
Because when you're going through such trauma, you want to be that ear, you want to be a good friend. But then there's the point too where you need to coach someone about, okay, now what comes next? It's not your pain. It's
a lady
not
we
your
know
pain.
just finalized a divorce in the spring
Yeah.
because and we were asking her what went down, what's the deal. We had no idea. It was like we found out after. And she said he got so weird about his mortality and his health. And he just became convinced that he was diseased and dying. And we were like, "Well, what did the test show? Did he go?" She's like, "Yeah, he went to the doctor. Fine. No test, nothing. He has no issues. Doctors are saying you're fine. It's mental." And she said it just got so bad. He got so upset and frustrated and terrified. He could never speak to me in a pleasant tone anymore. He was just eaten alive with obsessing about his health. And it led to their divorce. He divorced her. She said, "I never imagined I would be a divorced woman. Like, my values were, I will never be divorced," like so many say. And he was adamant. He could not live in the world in this, and he's still the same. She said they'll try to talk and be amiable for the kids and stuff, and he's still just riddled with
That's
this.
so sad.
It is.
It literally destroys people's lives.
But Pearl said it, what we stare at grows, and I could be a very wounded person to this day, and so can so many other people. People have been through way more betraying than that, this thing. But I'm just saying, I could have made it grow. I could have given it roots.
Yeah.
And that's what I used to do in my marriage.
Yeah.
Roots.
You know how my stomach stopped hurting?
Yeah.
I started obsessing about my lymph nodes.
Yeah.
I forgot that I had a stomach problem. And then I was like, "Oh yeah, let's get back on the stomach." And it's like the mental thing, like, all this is hindsight. Like, it's so easy to laugh about it now, but in the moment, like, you're right. Like, it's not just mentally. It's like if you focus on an area of your body and now it's like, oh, do I feel a lump? You know, and then you
Yeah.
start rubbing
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
well,
You
well,
rub
when-
it so much, then it really does hurt.
Well, I never poked at my body until I was like 40 years old.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, what is this? And it's like a rib, dude. Like I had a doctor say, it's a rib. That's your rib. And I was like, okay, it's my rib. I've never felt my rib before.
Yeah.
I hadn't have a reason to feel my rib until a midlife crisis.
Yeah. Yeah.
We suffered so you don't have to. Huh?
Well, I think going through things, but Serene, you when you look at this that you went through, I feel like rather than diminishing yourself and being that victim that's wearing pain, and we're going to be careful when we talk about, victim shaming or whatever, but we're not called to be victims.
No. No, we're called to be whole in him. And maybe finish your point.
I was going to say, I look at you as a stronger person. Yes, hurts have happened, but you allowed it to shape you, and you allowed growth. But it was difficult to surrender that, to hurl it off,
Yeah.
and to say, this is actually won't be part of me.
No, and it's actually fun now.
Really?
To, like, I get a little thrill when the temptation comes and I battle it off. I'm like, yay. Like, that's better than an hour in the gym. Like, because this is life growth. This is strengthening me in areas so that in other hurts, in other places where I would love to grab hold of something and just pull it close and pet it when it's destroying me.
Yeah, because that's a
It's
natural
a
thing,
muscle.
right?
It's a muscle. I'm like,
Patting
"Hey,
petting our
this
hurts.
This is exciting to have to fight this off because this is for overall growth.
Well, it's self-preservation. Like if as long as you obsess over it, you make sure that it won't sneak up on you and get you. You know,
but then
that's
it's
why.
got you the whole time.
got you.
But it's got
Yeah.
you the whole from the beginning.
Yeah. And so maybe it's like Pearl said, she was saying that in her marriage, whatever she stared at grew. So maybe you're pleading with God, like, change him.
Yeah.
Or, like, what's going on here? Like, help my marriage. Maybe it's as simple at first. Maybe. And there's going to be a whole lot of grace needed and a whole lot of healing for the Lord and a lot of things. But maybe the first step towards healing is just a lens shift.
Gratitude. It
Yeah.
started with me, you know. Why did even, in the times of real hurt, and my husband's a good guy, but I was a hurt person. I wore my hurt. I could just bring it up and ruminate. So skilled.
And then it
being hurt.
prolongs the behavior in them because
Yeah.
then they're like, oh,
Because,
she's just
hold
miserable
on,
to be
I'm
around.
gonna the silent trip. You've hurt me. I'm gonna act hurt. And when you act hurt, what do?
Put
Well,
walls
there's no walls. And
No
when
intimacy.
someone walks in, you're not gonna show that you're happy to be around them. They've hurt you. You're gonna show, no warmth. You're gonna be cool and cold. So how does someone act? When you walk in the room, imagine, and someone is not happy to see you. Do you want to be around that person?
Well, and for a husband whose very desire is to please his
Yes.
wife, like that's what men live for. We
Yeah.
want to see you smile.
But
We
I really
want-
thought I had a right to be. I look back now. I can't remember. It's such a lens change. But I remember, like you, Serene, pulling it out of me,
Yeah.
and I had to do it several times.
Surgery,
It was so rooted. It didn't want to come out. Oh, the root. I just realized it was so in here. This pain was my.
Sometimes we want God to do all the work.
precious.
God, you do the surgery. You pull it out while I lay here having no energy, no input. I think He wants us to wrestle things for life
What
too.
are the actions then to get over it?
Yeah, without sharing too much, Serene, how did you pull it out? When you're tempted by hurt again, by remember that happened? Remember that happened? Ooh.
Yeah.
How can you explain that then?
By intellectually, honestly looking at the things that I had done to not. I think when you just put all of the blame on somebody, that really grows those roots.
yeah.
But
Therapists say owning your contribution to the
owning my
breakdown.
contribution.
We all have a little, even if it was 1%.
Still need to own it,
Yeah.
because that kind of releases, your own guilt and it just frees you up. And I really enjoy the process now of just trying to find my blame in things right now because it's growth. And it feels cleansing,
Well,
and I like detoxing.
extreme ownership, not necessarily blame, shame, but extreme
No,
ownership.
not condemnation.
Yeah.
But just so I can say sorry and move on.
Yeah.
Not sorry and hold it over my head.
Yes.
So that was that part. And then just knowing that people's intentions are good for the most point. Even if they're hurting you, it might be because they're deceived, there's miscommunication, that the enemy is whispering to them too.
Well, they've been hurt.
They've been hurt, and this is the way they're dealing with it. So like realizing that it's not necessarily to take it personally. So first of all, I like take it personally enough to take ownership on my side, and then to not take it personally on the flip side by saying it's not like they hate me at the core,
Yeah.
but they're dealing with stuff too. They're dealing with life and with the enemy whispering things, or just this is the way they handle a crisis, and to pray. So to me, it's like then praying for life for them, praying for
But how did you get rid of that pain that was yours, that you were wrestling? You were saying, take it from me, God. And he said, give it to me. Hurl it at me.
Well, I just hurled it. And for some reason, it felt so great
Like
once I
physically?
hurled it.
What do you
Why
mean?
did I want to like take that big kettlebell back and lug it around?
So it was a decision.
It was a decision, and I just keep deciding, because it was a decision because I knew it was going to ruin my life.
Okay, so yeah.
This pain was going to ruin the relationship that I wanted to be healed one day. And also it was going to ruin my other relationships with my husband and my children, because I'd be a miserable woman. So I knew this is going to lead to death.
Yeah.
So do I want that? And I've hurled it over to God now, and I feel great. So why don't I keep
Do you do a
feeling great?
motion? Like, are you like out of here? Like what?
Oh,
what is
I
the
was like
hurl?
taking these dirty rags off of me and hiffing it. Like,
So you had
like
visual.
cinematography, visual.
You've got visuals going.
And then he held it. And
Okay.
then he was going to wash those rags, all those burden, and he was going to deal. And I go into like I said, into that room where he is with that problem, and I will sit with him and pray about it, and I will leave him back in that room where he's going to continue to work on it.
Okay.
And it's just, but I'm back out here.
So you get a picture, and he is holding it in this picture.
Yeah.
But that's all created by your mind, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's really strong stuff though, because you are using, we talked about, remember the image,
Yeah.
the magi that came
imagination.
to Christ, the imaginate we're made in the image of God.
Yeah.
This imagination thing, I think has so much reality in context of physics, more than we give it credit for.
Yeah.
I think our imagination, and it's like, oh, here's some people are very linear and they do Excel spreadsheets, and then there's these other creatives, the creatives out there, and they kind of just waste a lot of time and paint pretty pictures, but we're not sure what they're for other than entertainment. But like, I think both types need to access this really powerful thing they've been given called their imagination, because in your imagination is the reality of your life. Like, everything starts in your imagination, and then you experience it in your life. Like, one thing some people do is, and you can do this if you've got some real, like, this is stuck, this part of my life is, it's just never going away. This is a trauma. This is a childhood trauma.
Yeah.
You can write it on a piece of paper
Yeah.
and write it down. And then you can crumble up the paper. And if you want, you can
Burn it.
sit by a fire.
Yeah.
And you can, and this is the thing, people do at fire ceremonies. You
Yeah.
can put it in the fire and you can say, I am letting this go. And you could do it 12 times if you need to, or
Yeah.
15 times.
Or
And-
every day.
And or every day, or,
Yeah.
and give yourself a visual, give your imagination a picture to look at of it going up to, in your case, the hands of God who holds it, or in my case, the incineration of it.
Yeah.
I've never actually pictured, like with trauma, I don't, and maybe it's a male female thing. You know, I don't know, like my male brain, like I don't picture a man holding anything of mine.
Yeah.
I more picture like me, the warrior, burning it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
but it's still the same imagination that's
Yeah.
dealing with.
And
the
I think
inner-
God knows, what is baptism but a visual representation of us new life, right? Washing in the water, coming out clean.
Yeah, who's
I
it
mean-
for? Is it for God?
No, it's for us,
Yeah, right.
right?
Doesn't it say keep your mind on things above?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we're
You
all
know?
doing it anyway. When I was back in my ruminating on the focusing on the hurt, my fantasy world was about the hurt, and it
also,
created
like you
it.
imagined
Yeah.
the evening meal and what nasty things you
I
might
could
say
go-
if
yeah.
you prepare for the nasty ifs. Like if he gets mad at that, well,
Yes.
I'm gonna
Can
get
you- have
back.
you
and
ever
then
done-
you do the sentences.
Have you ever done conversations?
Oh, conversations are so easy in my mind. Negative.
They're
conversations.
so easy, but it was harder for you to imagine this other thing, right?
No,
Because
yeah.
we were doing the self-preservation thing, the thing that's the animalistic part about us.
You know the chest press with the barbell, and you're in your last rep
Oh,
on a
yeah, I
burnout,
do.
and is it going to come back down on your throat? Is it not? You're like, you have to do that gutter. This was harder to give it to God.
Yeah.
So, but once I made that struggle, I wasn't turning
and
back.
you put it with a visual and it's stuck,
Yeah.
right? And I think because it was such a Herculean effort. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking you go back to that sugar addiction. You know, that is mine. It's my sugar addiction. God, take it. I'm struggling. But what if there's that new identity? Okay, I'm giving it to you. I'm free. Doesn't mean you never struggle again.
No.
But what's the picture you're associating with? And then what are the physical steps you're doing as that free person? Danny, you always say, what if you could? And you look back at your childhood and there were some hard things and you said, I rewrote them in a different lens. And I don't see you hurt by those now.
Yeah, I truly feel like I had some internal ceremonies,
Yeah.
if you will, of reframing. Like what if it? My friend Brett really challenged me, and he asked me to think of your first memory, not bad or good, just what's the first memory you can think of. And I thought of it, and he said often something really significant happened right before that memory. And we block out the significant thing, but we remember that in my case, I was in a car and it was a storm and lightning was flashing. You know, that's my first memory. I've another memory before that, but this was the one for this conversation. And he was saying that, we walked through like all these things that had happened in my life. And I was like, see, it proves like from my childhood, like I was born to fail. Like it has been born to a single mother, no investment in college or anything of me. I left school in the 10th grade, had no confidence to do math, had no one helping me with my homework. Mom was at work. I mean, I just went down this, he made me pour it out. He's like, what else? And he's like, why else, are you destined to fail? Why else do you suck? Why else are you going to be a garbage man? And I was, and that's what I thought. I was like, yeah, I'm garbage Dan. That was my thing. I'm garbage Dan.
Wow.
And here are the reasons. And to this day, I can't make a freaking dollar. I grind all day and night as a carpenter. Can't get hired. Always
Not
getting,
to this day sitting in the seat.
Yeah.
But this day when you were
at
with-
the time.
At the
Yeah.
time.
At this time, yeah. And it all meant that I just had no hope in this world. Like I was born as one of the poor people, and I'm going to be a poor person. And I'm always going to struggle, and my kids are going to struggle, and my whole lineage is going to struggle. And he was like, but what if all those things you just listed meant something else?
Yeah. I got
And
goosebumps.
he goes, what if they could mean something else? Give me something that they could mean instead, something more powerful, a more powerful version of the meaning behind these things. And I said, they could mean that I have a special calling in my life.
Yeah.
They could mean that I'm uniquely skilled to go into the darkness
Yeah.
and pull people out when no one else can.
Because you've been there.
Yeah, they could mean
Yeah.
that I was trusted by the universe with the hardest of things. And it could mean that that I'm the master of perspective now, when no one else has the authority to be the master of perspective. I now can say with confidence, if your eye is good, your whole body will be filled with light.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that and not just quote someone else saying that.
Right.
So he goes, well, you should make it mean that. And
You
so,
did from that day?
and so it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're Dan and Franklin with the swimming pool and the American dream and the,
And the intact family.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You were,
amazing.
how many dads came and went, and yeah. No,
Yeah.
I love your journey.
My children will be the first in our family tree to whose kids will have grandparents in their life.
Wow.
From a perspective change.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth changing.
And it's been hard though, right? It hasn't been just since you decided that though, it wasn't effortless. You had to take action steps. You're constantly telling us about the action steps you take for your family.
Oh, it's a weekly choice.
Even how the verse renewing your mind. That's an activity.
Yeah,
That's an action. It's a command to us, right? How does the verse actually go? Good old Natey boy. It doesn't say I will renew your mind, which he does.
Yeah.
God does.
Yeah.
But there is an action that we do to renew our mind, to
Do
meditate
not be
on the word.
conformed to the
Yeah.
patterns of this
There you
world,
go.
but be
Thank Pastor Dan.
transformed
Thank you,
by the
Pastor.
renewing of your
Yes.
mind.
Transformed. You just shared your story of your life, that moment where
transformed
you
by it, yeah.
transformed it. Your children will be the first to have grandparents intact.
Do not be conformed by the image of this world. Is that what you said?
Do not be conformed any longer to the patterns
Pattern
of
of
this
this
world.
world.
That
Right.
depends on the
Right.
version, but
Right.
But the patterns of this world are the things that come naturally to the brain.
Oh, yeah.
They're the patterns that my brain was so jolly good
And
at.
you saw the pattern. This is how it goes. Dan the garbage man, my father before that and my child after this. We
Yeah.
are in this locked
gravity
pattern.
wins.
Yeah.
Who am I to fight gravity? This is my lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fighting gravity with muscle right now. I love that. I'm fighting it all.
Yeah.
I'm contending. It's not fighting, it's reshaping.
Well, men have seized physics and they've caused rockets to achieve escape velocity. is what
Exactly.
it's called.
Imagine if no one imagined that. That was imagined
It's
first.
imagined. Yeah.
And it's so interesting because I can be in a lowest of the low place in my brain and 2 seconds later be set free, all by saying, oh, okay, I resist that. That's taking me down. I'm going to turn this around and then view the whole thing differently and then be free.
But you don't want to at the time, right?
No, you don't want it at the time. But the fact is that it's so interesting how I didn't have to take a magic pill to do that. Everybody else didn't have to change for me to do that. It was
Hey,
a
look,
mental state.
If you want to change your day, I mean, look in the mirror and say a mantra. But if you want to change your family tree, you might have to fight like hell your whole life. But it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that fight is so great when you're fighting something that's worth fighting for and you're fighting something that's making you more alive.
I know. I think, Serene,
Not a
you
lost
taught
one.
me something, and you said the fight is wonderful because sometimes we get battle weary, right? But then even David said, well, you prepare me a table in the midst of my enemies. We're supposed to be in battle. That's what we are, battling. Like the forces of good and darkness, right? But he can bring us peace in the fight. And I think, do not be weary in good doing. Do not be weary. I think you now look at Serena as these, and I've noticed you looking at the battles as kind of fun. Like, oh, I was made for this.
yeah.
I'm just gonna improve this skill. So let's take it back to the sugar edition again that we've been revisiting. Yeah, you're gonna go into a gas station. It's a fight. You're gonna look at your pantry shelves. It's a fight. You're gonna drive and you've had a bad day past the drive-through and it's a fight.
Yeah.
Do not be weary because it's worth it. And when you imagine yourself as that person, I'm a different person. I'm set free.
And
It's huge.
And that temptation doesn't have to make you, don't let that temptation put a label or an identity over you that, oh, I'm so weak, I'm having this temptation. No.
Yeah.
That temptation and that struggle means you get to show grit and strength in this area. Like I've been challenged to find peace, deep soul rest my whole life. And for ages, I used to think, oh, I just, I have a problem in this area. Now I'm like, no, I'm actually so strong in peace. I actually have superhuman power strength for peace because I've got grit in it, and I've had to fight in it, and I've had to stand for it. So now I am stronger than people that have never had to battle in it. So if you have a sugar addiction, if you have an eating disorder, if you have any kind of food issue that's causing your health a breakdown, the temptation and the fight is where you show your muscles. It's where you show your grit, and your identity should be, look at the soldier I am. Look what I get to conquer every day, and come home a little bit tired saying, oh wow, I'm this like muscled warrior. I don't know, like I've decided to think of it differently, and my life feels like I don't have a issue. I'm just a soldier, and it's so awesome.
Yeah, we have to be conquerors, because we have. For me, the motivation is to look at my children and say, "Here's how you do this. Like, you can do this." I mean, that's been one of my biggest struggles, is kind of having that orphan spirit and just not knowing how to do anything.
I remember you said that. I read your book, Danny, What If You Could? And I remember the line that said,
I can't log into Amazon, by the way, so if you're ordering, and people are, I can't get it to you.
Oh, so no one can buy your book.
Nope. You can get the audio version, though.
Okay, what if you could? And you were talking about fatherless. Like, you didn't even know how to, like, get a car, or what do you do about a title? Like, no one to tell you.
All that.
I was like, I took it for granted, and I thought about, and I watch now, since I read that, I watch interactions with my husband and my growing sons, who are all growing now, constantly calling their father.
Constantly.
And I remember my husband calling his father. It's the beautiful, beautiful connection that I never thought about till I heard you put it like that. And now I look at it, and it's just another thing I'm thankful for my husband. I've got this list. That's one thing, because they trust him, and it's this natural beauty of, just ask Dad. And he passes that wisdom along to them, and they're doing it to their
I got the email
sons.
today. We ordered my son's custom license plate.
Yeah, see? And now you're doing that, what you never had, and it's so beautiful. You
So
never
good.
take it for granted, Danny, like I did. Like, I had a great father. Took it all for granted until I heard your perspective. But now when I see that in my husband, all the things I took for granted, sure, what? My dad did that. I don't want to take that for granted.
Yeah.
People don't have that. Look, I'm thankful I have that in a husband. It's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
that.
But you fought for it, and now you're giving it and passing it along.
Yeah. You have to answer every phone call from your kids, every text, every need they have, every help me with my homework. The answer is yes. Every single time. Your life is not your own. That's the I think that's a generational shift that needs to happen. Is parents need to put down their freaking glass of wine and their outing with their buddies and grow up.
But I think you have such a heart, and I mean, I'm okay with self-care too, and still enjoying our lives. But you're right. That's our life is not our own. But I think, like you said, what if all that could mean something? People take that for granted, but you don't. And so, I think you were made for something special.
But you see
Danny.
how this is a superpower to you? See how that you have a higher level of determination, and also the honing of your relationship, more than like us that may have just, it's all silver spooned, great family tree, blah, 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 blah. And maybe we're not even as intentional as you. So the area where the enemy was like, this is going to be your weakness. No, you're stronger than anybody else.
Yeah, you're strong, and you care that others are strong. So we're good. We're 52 minutes in.
52
I love it, Serene. Inspired.
Go off and hurl some stuff.
Yeah.